Okay, everyone's favourite at the moment, silver. Let's have a quick look through this and see where we can get. So to start off, obviously silver, precious metal. It's got manufacturing uses, but it's up there with silver and gold. So what I've done is I've overlaid gold charts with silver. So you can see gold is obviously in gold, and then this is silver. So if we start from the bigger picture, we'll have a look back and see if we can work out the trend. You can see most of the time there's a bit of a lag. Gold started moving up, silver followed, and then silver tends to spike up, usually, as gold settles at the top here. And this has been a pretty consistent sort of trend, really, until we get to here, which if you, it was January, so January 2014. So for whatever reason, in January 2014, things have changed. Now, you can see here the spread, it's got bigger, and then last sort of July time, June time, you had this big move in silver where silver went up, and it's still not up as high as where gold was, or is at the moment rather. So it's time to think about, where's this going to go? Well, you can see the long-term trend line that I've drawn in here with gold. This would suggest, if you take gold into consideration, here's your long-term trend. You've got this great big move up and consolidation back to retest, and then another move up, and then potentially we're going to see this move back, and then forming some sort of a giant wedge pattern. So if the trend's anything to go by, it's saying that silver's actually at a pretty reasonable level. It's not expensive by any means, like perhaps gold might be, but it's reasonable. However, we've still got this sort of gap. So one of two things is going to happen here. Either silver is going to go higher, and it's going to meet gold, or gold's going to come lower. And for anyone who's seen my videos, it's pretty. I'm obviously very bearish on gold, at least in the short term. Anyway, I think there will come a time where inflation really sets in and gold goes to the moon. But until there's a few changes in the system, I don't think that's going to happen. And the other thing we need to consider as well, not just looking at these charts, is really putting everything together. Look at the US dollar. Obviously, silver, gold is priced in US dollars. The US dollar is currently, okay, it's down at a low, but it's starting to form a bottoming pattern and thinking about heading higher, all whilst having the largest net speculative short position on the US dollar. And with stocks at the all-time highs, it's sort of setting up a recipe for disaster. And then what happens is, obviously, you get this liquidity event, the dollar shoots higher, stocks sell off, and unfortunately that means silver and gold is going to sell off as well. Usually it's sort of what happened here back in March, and this is what we might be expecting. So there is a likelihood, if this short squeeze idea doesn't play out, that silver is probably at least going to go down to, I don't know, somewhere around here. Is this about $20 perhaps, before moving higher again? I do think it's going to go higher eventually, but it's just sort of factoring in the time frames to what's going to happen and when. However, with that in mind, look at these spikes here. I mean, these are huge moves, and this is what we're kind of expecting. Now, this is what I think the Reddit lads are wanting, really, with this move up. So this is going to be a short squeeze, and it's arguable that the reason why silver is still down here is because it is being suppressed, which is the idea behind this short squeeze. But let's have a look at the daily, and let's see if we can work out where we're at now and where things are going to go over the next couple of weeks. I think that's what everybody wants to know. Okay. Right. So we've had this big move up and we've had a nice consolidation pattern here. And then, in fact, I'm just going to clean this chart up. And then let's have a look where we're at. Okay, silver. Right. At a peak, slightly lower peak, come back, tested. This is the 100-day moving average. Held the 100-day moving average, moved under, rejected sort of this zone where the 150 is. We sort of well, we didn't really reject it. We found a consolidation pattern for a period before moving up and above, back down to test the 150-day, and then now we're starting to move up. So there's two trains of thought here. The first one is, well, this is bullish. There's no denying that this isn't bullish. It's a test of the 50-day. It's held the 50-day and it started moving up. That shows that people are interested. However, I'm going to zoom in a bit further because there's possibly a little bit more behind this. Because if we have a look, whilst it did move up, it only moved up in the past 2 days, and the only reason we've probably moved up in the last 2 days is because everyone's been going mad on buying silver. So if you consider that how many people are probably speculating on the silver price now, and in the past 2 days have absolutely piled in to silver, expecting this short squeeze to happen. I mean, and you can imagine the numbers around the world are going to be a lot. Technically, we still not hit this previous peak from last week, let alone the previous peaks from a couple of weeks back. So I don't know. I'm skeptical. From a technical analysis perspective, I'd like to see a pullback down to here. If you saw a pullback, that'd be a great entry. If you're buying up here, there's a lot of risk, especially if you're trading on leverage. Like I say, long-term silver's going to go up, and if you're happy to hold it for potentially a few years, you're not going to lose money on it. However, like I said, there is the downside risk with the liquidity event, and the move's kind of already gone. You should really have bought here if you were going to buy. So let's see where it goes next week. Let's see where we hold. The markets haven't been making much sense as of late anyway, so there's always the probability that it just goes off to the moon because everybody piles in without any consideration to technical analysis. The short squeeze plays out and it does go up. So, looking historically, yeah, there's potential for silver to go a lot higher. It's been a lot higher in the past, which is a very good sign. It certainly looks like it's being suppressed, which is another certainly good sign. And it's moving above the 50-day moving average, which is a good sign. However, if you are trading silver, I would definitely consider having stop losses in place, because if we do start having some sort of difficulty, I'd probably want to get out, at least in the short term, as it's likely silver is going to head a bit lower at some point. That said, if it does get down to probably this sort of level here, would be ideal as sort of a retracement zone. If it does get down here, I would just go mad and buy silver, because I doubt it's going to go any lower than that.